Should you consider optimizing your progesterone after menopause? In today's video, we're going to walk you through 3 reasons you might seriously consider adding progesterone to your hormone plan after you go into menopause. In the interest of fairness, once again, I'm going to go over 3 reasons that some women might choose not to optimize their progesterone. My goal is really quite simple. I want to help you obtain the clarity you need to make an informed decision about what's best for your health. I also want to help you gain the confidence to advocate for your health, especially when you're talking to your healthcare practitioner, your primary care provider, your OBGYN. If I could help a woman in menopause understand one word about why she should think about optimizing her progesterone, that word would be protection. Progesterone protects the lining of the uterus from overgrowth that's caused by estradiol. That overgrowth is actually a natural process that happens every month during a woman's reproductive years. Before menopause, both estradiol and progesterone are produced regularly in the ovaries. Estradiol causes a buildup of the uterine lining, it's called the endometrium, preparing that lining for a possible pregnancy. Progesterone steps in late in your cycle every month to keep the uterine lining growth in check. After menopause, when estradiol is given through hormone replacement therapy to help with symptoms, that balance still matters. And progesterone is the hormone that restores the balance between growing and slowing the uterine lining. Even beyond protecting the uterus, progesterone plays a protective role in a woman's overall health. The second word I'd want a woman to understand when she's considering progesterone optimization would be the word symptoms. Progesterone deficiency is often at the root of a group of symptoms that don't get nearly as much attention as hot flashes and night sweats might, but they're no less devastating. Things like paralyzing anxiety, depression, insomnia that can be so severe that women sleep 2 to 4 hours a night for months or even years. These symptoms can derail your life, and many women, especially those who've optimized their estradiol already, still, they're suffering needlessly because nobody's helped them look at their progesterone. When progesterone levels are brought back into an optimal range, the results can be pretty dramatic. Women tell me all the time that progesterone has been a game changer or a miracle hormone, especially in regard to their sleep. Women often report sleeping deeply for the first time in years. Their anxiety and their depression begin to lift. They start to be able to remember things as opposed to when they felt the brain fog of sleep deprivation. The third word I'd focus on when talking about optimizing your progesterone is the word prevention. Most women really have no idea that progesterone plays a powerful role in prevention against multiple forms of cancer. Research shows that progesterone helps reduce risks of things like colorectal cancer, ovarian cancer. We've already talked about progesterone's impact on endometrial overgrowth. Well, that helps prevent endometrial cancer. Progesterone helps with preventing cervical cancer, even breast cancer. A major study from France called the EPIC E3N cohort study showed that women taking natural progesterone along with estradiol had lower rates of breast cancer than women using any other hormone combination. Progesterone helps to regulate cell growth. It triggers cancer cell death, which is a process that's often called apoptosis. Progesterone also has been shown to reduce cancer cell invasiveness or metastasis. This is why it's so important to make a distinction between progesterone and synthetic progestins. Progestins are not exactly the same as progesterone. They do not have the same cancer preventive effects. In contrast to progesterone, progestins are often associated with increased cancer risks. Now let's look at the other side, why some women choose not to take progesterone. The number one reason a woman might choose not to optimize her progesterone could be summed up in this one word: hysterectomy. So many women have had their uterus, and often their uterus and their ovaries, removed surgically. Their doctors almost always tell them that progesterone is unnecessary in that situation. Doctors may even imply that progesterone is dangerous. And I get it. The logic sort of goes like this. I mentioned earlier that progesterone's job, its main job, is to protect the lining of the uterus. But if you no longer have a uterus, then it sort of logically follows that you must not need progesterone. But that view ignores completely what I mentioned about progesterone's impact on symptoms, like anxiety and depression and insomnia. The thinking that progesterone is unnecessary also ignores its role in protecting your brain and balancing estradiol in a lot of other systems, whether you have a uterus or not. That dangerous label often comes from confusion that comes from the Women's Health Initiative. The Women's Health Initiative linked a synthetic progestin called medroxyprogesterone, not progesterone itself, to a small increase in breast cancer risk. Natural progesterone wasn't even part of the Women's Health Initiative. And newer studies like the EPIC E3N cohort that I mentioned have actually shown protective effects, especially when it comes to breast cancer. The number 2 reason women might avoid progesterone optimization could be summed up in the word intolerance. A small percentage of women experience severe progesterone intolerance, especially with oral capsules. That might make them feel suicidally depressed or incredibly anxious or completely wiped out. Women might have a paradoxical insomnia and feel like they're going crazy. Progesterone intolerance is rare, but it's also very real. And if a woman has that kind of reaction and nobody really knows how to help her with it, it makes sense that she'd want to avoid progesterone entirely. But there is some good news. An experienced hormone optimization specialist is somebody who knows how to manage progesterone intolerance issues, somebody who's seen those kinds of things before. Most conventional providers don't really understand it. But a specialist can use different delivery forms, things like maybe topical progesterone creams, progesterone lozenges or troches that are dissolved under the tongue, vaginal creams, vaginal suppositories, vaginal troches made with progesterone, sometimes titrating capsule doses, meaning taking a very small dose and gradually increasing it over weeks or months. Timing the progesterone doses can make a difference, using long-acting progesterone formulations. An experienced hormone specialist can often find a way to get the benefits of progesterone without bothersome side effects. The number 3 reason a woman might say no to progesterone can be summed up in the word side effects. Okay, maybe that's 2 words, but that's okay. Even in women who tolerate progesterone well, side effects are still a possibility. They're not necessarily any fun. We're talking about things like dizziness or drowsiness. That's the most common side effect reported with progesterone. Makes a lot of sense. Progesterone's often used specifically to help with menopause insomnia. If you take a sleeping pill like Ambien and it makes you drowsy, well, I guess that's not a side effect, it's an effect. So it works. Daytime drowsiness with progesterone is something most women find kind of lessens over the first few weeks of taking it. Adjusting the dose or the timing of the dose, maybe taking it earlier in the evening, those can make a difference. Some women complain that they've gained weight after taking progesterone. There are several clinical trials and meta-analyses looking at all the trials that have really shown that progesterone doesn't have a significant impact on weight gain for most women. Several side effects are caused by progesterone's tendency to slow down the GI tract. It sort of loosens up the sphincters or the valves that in your gut, especially there's one that goes from your lower esophagus into your stomach. That can lead to bloating and constipation and nausea, maybe gastric reflux or heartburn issues. These effects are all very real, and for some women, they can be deal breakers. But again, this is where working with a trained hormone expert makes all the difference. An expert working with a compounding pharmacy can kind of work together to tailor the dose and the dosage form, and together you and your provider can find the benefits of progesterone without making you feel worse. So far, we've talked about estradiol and progesterone in this little series of videos. There's one more hormone that many women and even many doctors completely overlook. But it might be the missing link between how you feel now and how you used to feel. A lot of women tell me once they start taking this hormone, they feel a lot better. That hormone is testosterone. My next video answers this question. Why should you consider optimizing your testosterone after menopause? Click here to watch that video right now.